What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now Plus. I'm Alex, and we need to talk about another very embarrassing moment for video game journalism. And this is actually kind of insane. I just realized this, or just figured this out about 2 minutes before I hit record here. This is the same person that did the infamous, the legendary, really, Kotaku PS5 review. So if you remember that PS5 review, there was several paragraphs in the review, as you would probably expect from a review covering a brand new console. It happens every 7 to 8 years. Of course, you have to talk about who's running for president and the crumbling state of society. That has to be part of the review of a video game console and if you should get it or not. So this is, and I actually can't believe this person is still able to do this stuff. I think they're a freelancer because that was for Kotaku. This one is for Polygon. So it seems to just be a person that these sites hire, which is pretty common with the video game industry. You don't look at these things and say, hey, maybe we should stop. Maybe we should not allow our writers to talk about current events, whether it's politics and presidential debates and which one would be better or worse, or maybe they shouldn't talk about the heat outside if they're reviewing a video game. What do those two things have to do with each other? So I'm getting already very, very mad, and I haven't even talked about what this is, but it's the same person. Let me just throw that out there just for transparency's sake. So what we have here is a Remnant 2 review for Polygon, and I gotta thank Sophia Narwitz over on Twitter. She had done the pictures. I'm not clicking on the website. I'm not clicking on the article. We don't need to be giving them clicks. We can laugh at them here, separate from that. And by the way, as people most often do in videos like this, and I do mean it, leave this person alone. As I just said, let's laugh, but let's laugh here. Let's shake our head at the dying state of game journalism here, but let's please, for the love of God, not go and engage with these people. That's definitely, I would say, the wrong thing to do. Okay, so I got to thank Sophia Narwitz. She did the pictures here, and let's just read it because it's actually hilarious. It's actually hilarious, and then it's more hilarious when you realize that this person has done it more than once now. Okay, so let's read out what he said. The real-world moment into which Remnant 2 launches doesn't do it any favors either. It took me 16 hours to finish the game's campaign, planning early morning and late night sessions around a climate change-induced California heat wave so as to not exacerbate the daily triple-degree temperatures, already turning my home into a sweat lodge. Folks, there's no point in fearing some hypothetical apocalypse waiting for us over the horizon. We're living through one right now. It's just so slow-moving and boring that our dumb amphibian brains are instead making entertainment out of the water getting hotter around us like it's not seconds away from a rolling boil. Now, I want you to look at me with a straight face. I want any defender of this individual, Polygon, or gaming journalism in general, I want you to look at this video with a straight face, and I want you to type what the point of that paragraph was. How that paragraph has anything to do with the quality in any way of the freaking game. It's funny because I had just started talking about Remnant 2. I made a video on the main channel, and my interest is kind of there, but I'm not really sure about it. In fact, I said maybe I'll wait for reviews, not for the scores. I don't care about the scores, but what people are saying. And also the new gameplay. Let's see what this game looks like in action. There's plenty out there, but let's see a little bit more, and then I'll make my decision. Well, I can tell you for an honest truth here, what I meant there was not for an article to come out, a review. Imagine being some poor sap that went to Polygon to read this review that legitimately wanted to know what a individual, this is shocking by the way because it's a video game website. Imagine you go on the video game website on the review for the video game, talking about the game and if you should get it or not, the strengths and weaknesses, and imagine having to read that. You tell me why that's okay, because that's pathetic. Okay, can we say that really quick? I'm actually getting almost more mad than ever before because we know game journalism is dying. We know these people are going extinct. We know these sites are shutting down. We know these sites are worth nothing. In fact, they're worth in the negatives. They lose money every month, every quarter, every year. And some people, for whatever God unknown reason, they wonder why. They wonder why, and I'm not a fan of this, AI is taking over, okay? I don't want AI writing the articles. I don't want to go to IGN, which I rarely do in the first place, but I don't want to go to these sites and read robots writing these things. I could care less about that, and I'm not doing that. At the same time, I have to actually give it to the AI and say, well, when you have no talent on your writing team, and I'm not saying there's throughout the board or across the board no talent, but when you have people like this that legitimately just aren't talking about the game. You can't even go after them. At least the there's too much water thing was literally talking about the game, that there's too much water in the game. Not that there's too much water on planet Earth or too little water or the water is rising or the temperature of the water is rising. No, that there's too much in the game. So you can clown on that all you want, and trust me, that will never leave that person. However, at least they're talking about the game. So I would much prefer this person to keep it centered, because in that paragraph, the only thing I learned about the game is that it took this individual 16 hours. Now, does that tell me anything? Well, not really, because it almost seems like he was rushing it because he had to play in the morning and at night so as to not run it during the day when it was like, 100 and whatever degrees, and that's going to make him hot inside the house. And okay, it probably would have been enough to stop there. In fact, like, I read this thing before I hit record on this video. I read it once. I guess maybe I skimmed it. It didn't penetrate my brain, my thought process, but reading it now live for you all, the second part of it is what makes me want to flip out on just society and on this individual, because the first half is all right, look, I mean, I guess when I'm making a review, you might throw in a personal thing. I mean, it is your personal taste. Now, again, I'd prefer you keep it to the game, but, if you want to talk about your local temperature, I guess, okay, and you want to say, well, it's really hot, so I played it in the morning and night. All right, I don't really care when you played it, but thanks for letting me know. That's enough, though. You can stop there. But then, of course, there's the second part of the paragraph in which now we have to start focusing on the climate change. And now, if we don't do it, I think we're really stupid. In fact, that's actually what this person is telling us, that our brains are really dumb because we focus on kind of trivial things and like video games, entertainment of the water temperature, and we're not focused enough on the rising heat. Dude, I'm reading an article on a game. The whole point, the reason you were paid however many tens of dollars to write that article, okay? You were contracted, they gave you the game or whatever the situation happened, you played the game, you wrote your little review. The reason they did that is so that when people type in Remnant 2 review, or when they go on Polygon to look for their review of the new game Remnant 2, they would see that article, they'd click it, and they'd read it, and they'd be informed on how you thought Remnant 2 was. So I'd also like to ask a question. Did this come up, because I'm not going to click on the article, does this influence the score? Because they had to play it in the morning and night, so they felt rushed because it inconvenienced them the time the game came out. So I guess you can't release your game in July because this person only has limited time. They can only do reviews. They can only play their games in a 4-hour window. And you could go even deeper, oh, woe is this person. You're getting paid. You're getting a game early, a free game. You're getting a free game. You're getting it early. You're able to write a review on a free game early, and you get paid. There are 4 different parts to that. People would kill for that job, okay, to do it well, and people would do it well, and people have done it well. People would kill for that, and you're complaining that you had to do it at certain times of the day because it's too hot at other times. Are you kidding? And then that's fine. If you want to do a tweet on that, okay, knock yourself out, okay? But you're going to put that in the review, and then you're going to tell us that we should really start to care about climate change more? Not the place. I don't care about the politics. I don't care about your opinion of these things, truly. And I hope you don't care about mine either, because that's how it should be. We're not here for that. We're here to learn about Remnant 2, specifically for that article or that review. We're there to learn about Remnant 2, not the local temperature of this individual. How dumb can somebody be to do something like that? So it's not surprising. Honestly, when you see it, when you read it, you say, okay, well, this person's unhinged. How does this even make it through? Then you realize, again, this is the exact same person who did the Kotaku piece, which I actually, and I know I mentioned in the beginning of the article, and I keep derailing myself, but I can't believe that's even possible, that we got to that point in society. I can't believe we got to a certain point in society, I guess back in 2020 there, but really over the last several years, a lot of people's minds have been completely broken. I can't believe we've reached a point in life where somebody writes an article, writes a review for a once in a 7 to 8 year cycle, a system that costs $500. It is the main thing of this multi-billion company, this console war. Then you go into pop culture and you think of Sony and you think of them competing against the other consoles and all of their icons, and this is the next decade for them, and that's how important every console is for these companies, right? It's no small thing when the Xbox Series X comes out. It's no small thing when the PS5 comes out. And in your article, you spend multiple paragraphs talking about the presidential election and saying, oh man, we're really screwed. Get ready. Like, why in God's name did that make it through? Who read that? It's not even at this point, it's not just this person. It's the managing editors, whoever has to kind of read over these things. I'm pretty sure, at least I know from IGN back in the day, that's how it worked. You wrote the article, you turned it in, they proofread it, they would send it back or they would publish it. Like, that's generally how those things go. Somebody had to have read that Kotaku one. Somebody should and had to have read that Polygon one. And they said, yep, this passes our eye test because people clearly want to know what the average temperature outside your home in California is on that day and how that inconvenienced you with this game. And then we, of course, need to push it a little bit more and say you should really care about this temperature. Guess what? It's not the place. We're here to focus on the game. The game that you got we can keep going. We can keep circling the wagon. That's all these people do is they keep doing the same thing over and over again. So why can't I? Let me know before I have too high of blood pressure to continue living here. Let me know what you think. Make sure you're subscribed, bell icon turned on, and I hope to see you all on the next one.